Big changes are happening in West Asia. Reconciliations brewing. After Iran and Saudi Arabia started talking, Syria has opened ties with the Arab nations. Now it is time for Israel and Saudi Arabia. These two seem to be talking indirectly, and Iran is not happy. In our next report, we tell you all about this story.
Forward with President Putin.
West Asia might be nearing on a game-changer deal. One that would realign interests, policies and threat. If reports are to be believed, Israel and Saudi want to share a table. They're eyeing rapprochement. And the recent movement between Washington, Riyadh and Tel Aviv hints at something big brewing in the region. In late July, US President Joe Biden sent his national security advisor to Saudi Arabia. Jake Sullivan sat down with the Saudi Crown Prince.
As he always is.
The duo discussed Israel and Saudi normalization and regional concerns. That includes initiatives to advance a common vision for a more peaceful, secure, prosperous and stable West Asia region interconnected with the world. President Biden said that a deal might be in the offing, but refrained from making any promises. In the middle of July, Israeli President Isaac Herzog visited the US capital, where he sounded rather upbeat about the prospect of an Israel-Saudi deal.
Israel thanks the United States for working towards establishing peaceful relations between Israel and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, a leading nation in the region and in the Muslim world. We pray for this moment to come. This would be a huge sea change in the course of history in the Middle East and the world at large.
Serious word about Saudi and Israel normalizing ties started last year. It was when Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman said that the kingdom views Israel as a potential ally, but asserted that Israel first needs to solve its problems with Palestine. The same Palestine for whom the Arab world united against Israel decades ago is missing from the picture as regional powers call a truce. While Palestinian interests might not be the main highlight, other signatories have a lot to gain. For President Joe Biden, the Saudi-Israel normalization before his term ends would entail a big foreign policy win. The American public might not be too keen on what happens in West Asia, but the topic resonates among both parties in the capital. Washington has a few demands. It wants Riyadh to offer an unprecedentedly large aid package to Palestinian institutions in the West Bank and help bring an end to the civil war in Yemen. But what's big is the US demand for Saudi to end its bonhomie with China. Just a few months ago, China achieved the unprecedented in West Asia. It brokered a truce between arch-enemies Saudi Arabia and Iran. For Saudi Arabia, this deal falls in line with its image reset. The Gulf Kingdom is projecting itself as the new West Asian kingmaker. Crown Prince bin Salman wants to bring stability to the region, and he wants to do that under a US security umbrella. MBS is looking to establish a NATO-level mutual security treaty with the US. He's looking for a civilian nuclear program where the Saudis would have their own reactor under some kind of IAEA and American supervision. Cherry on the cake will be access to the most advanced US weapons. There's another demand equally important, if not more. Saudis would demand of Israel to preserve the prospect of a two-state solution. Just like the United Arab Emirates demanded that Netanyahu forego any annexation of the West Bank as a price for their Abraham Accords, observers say Saudi and the US would ask for three main things from Israel. 1. An official promise not to annex the West Bank, ever. 2. No new West Bank settlements or expansion outward of existing settlements. And 3. No legalization of WILDCAT Jewish settlement outposts. While Netanyahu, who is eyeing a Saudi truce, might accept these terms, it is to be seen what the reaction of his far-right cabinet will be. A debate to watch in the Knesset is whether Israel wants diplomatic ties with Riyadh vis-a-vis open doors to recognition by Muslim nations, or does it want to kill the idea of Palestine, given the recent tensions in the West Bank? This discussion will not end well for Netanyahu at least. The Palestinian Authority, currently occupied in getting its act together, has expressed a desire for Saudi to at least talk to them about the potential normalization. They fear that any agreement would further weaken support for their cause in the wider Arab world and undermine hopes of an independent Palestinian state. There are too many things going on. The deal in itself is tricky to say the least. If it comes true, even in the longer term, it entails big strategic wins for all parties involved. But for now, there are multiple sticking points. The biggest hurdle is for Saudi and Israel to agree to the terms. Then there's the challenge of the US Congress clearing Saudi demands, and in the current environment, a bipartisan support for Saudi security and backing of a nuclear program seem far-fetched at best.